finger shaker. We should use that on this.
It's on the cocktail table. On the side table. What do they call the side tables?
An end table.
I'll be able to do this on the ukulele so you want.
And I'll do the finger shaker.
And finger shaker.
Hello and welcome to Friday Fenndango and a Gypsy Kiss. I'm the magical treasure princess and life coach to the rich and famous Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Younis, the RA for Hokona Hall. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks
for joining us tonight. We got some fun emails, voicemails, text messages, you know, the whole 9 yards. I don't think we have anything to interrupt us tonight, do we? No, nothing major.
No interceptions?
No interceptions.
You said the whole 9 yards.
So the idea is to have fun. Let's have fun.
Let's have fun!
We insist upon it. Did you go tanning today?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does. I can tell all the time when she's got when she starts getting browner
glow.
than
That's
when
all
she
it
starts
is.
getting
It's
browner
just a
than
glow.
me because come summertime I get darker. First things first.
Housekeeping, you want towels?
Of course you want towels because towals are
Obvi.
toallas.
Did we even do that on the sound channel today?
No, we didn't. We missed that notice. I
didn't
forgot
we?
about
Yeah,
afterwards.
because I was like, I forgot something.
Remember to like this video. YouTube likes it when you like the video. They like our video. The Magical Treasure Princess likes it when you like our videos. That would be her.
Nikki
Share it with
Jensen
your family.
likes it when you like our videos. Nikki Jensen, my guest today on the softer
You should have
side.
seen her guest on the softer side. You have to go see that video.
That's right.
Share it with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your business associates, the entirety of your social network so that we can.
Grow the channel.
And if you are not already a subscriber, this would be the ideal time to subscribe by hitting that subscribe button.
Auga.
And then when you see the notifications bell, ring that notifications bell. And that way, when we engage you in a live stream, you'll be immediately informed and.
In the know.
Because there's nothing better in life than being in the know, especially if you're a Fenn treasure hunter.
Fanatic. Oh,
A Fenn. a Fenn. Oh, no, we don't want to say that.
fanatic.
No, we don't want to say that.
Do you want to say fanatic?
No, we don't want to say
It's just short for fan.
that.
It's long for fan. But
No.
me.
Okay. So let's kick off the evening with some. Oh, wait a minute.
You didn't do that. That's when we get prizes, presents. Did we get presents?
What's that back there?
It's a box.
Well, but I got to go through that other routine. So we're gonna look at a gift we got in just a minute. But I do want to say hi to Sean Scott, who is in the room.
Woohoo!
Sean is I hate to say my best friend because everybody is my best friend as far as I'm concerned. But Sean and I have been working together since 2012, and of course with Shelley, and so has his wife Sue. We were in the film industry. We've done documentaries together. We've done streaming together. We've
built
done
a
all kinds
studio
of things together. We re-engineered 2 different studios together. He was with me at the public access station, UPublic, and he was with me at West Studios. And what was the best part about my relationship with Sean, aside from the fact that he's got a beautiful wife and she's just as hardworking as he is, they are both veterans of the Air Force. They both spent 20 years in the Air Force. But he was working with me at the time when my daughter, Sean, was working with me. And so whenever I would say Sean and ask them to do something, they'd both say, what? They'd both respond. So eventually we got to make the distinction. He became Sean Scott and she became Sean Wells. And to this day, when I see him, I hug him and I say, Sean Scott, like
It's all one word now.
But he and his beautiful wife, Sue, were the 2 that we went to last Monday to the wine pairing dinner at Indigo Crow in Corrales, at which the Magical Treasure Princess had just a little bit more wine than she could accommodate. So then that's what happens.
We're
then
not
she
going to
gets
get into that.
giggly.
No,
Anyway, it was a lot of fun, and it's always fun with them. So be kind to Sean. He's not a Fenn treasure hunter. I think he just popped in to say hi, and so we wanted to take the opportunity to say hi.
Yes.
So if you want to engage in communications with us, the shortest way to do it is the way that Quantum Entangler has done it, by typing... go ahead, grab it.
Or you can send us a super chat like Copper Dan has. And 3D bronze as well.
Oh.
All the major metals are here tonight.
Well, not only that, 3D bronze, we missed him. Did you get that?
I didn't cha-ching, or did I? Maybe I did.
3D Bronze says, don't forget Super Chat, everyone.
Yeah.
And then Copper Dan, one of the
If
other...
you want to participate in that, there's a grayed out $ at the bottom of your chat. You can click on that, and YouTube will take you to the store where there are stickers and colored boxes galore, and you can purchase one to put your comment in.
And we'll be sure to see that comment, and if it's a question, we'll answer it. It moves straight to the top of the proverbial list.
And we give you one of these.
And it is not necessary to name yourself after one of the metals like copper or bronze. You can be anybody
Although
you want.
Silver Fox, hey,
Oh, Silver Fox.
you could participate.
Yep. And you are silver after all.
That's right.
So that's one way to do it.
3D
Oh,
bronze.
wow, here they go.
We got a super chat challenge going.
On.
William.
Copper who? William says, my gray hair won't be done by. He's a silver fox too. So that's one way to reach out to us, the super chat. That's always nice. And another way is to precede your comment in the chat room with an @ space gypsies space kiss, and make sure there's apostrophe between the Y and the S in the gypsies, and that way it's highlighted on the screen in front of us. The most reliable way for us is to send us a text message to this number that you see on the screen below me, 202-815-1171. You can also call that number and leave a voicemail, and then of course later on in the evening we'll open up that number so you can call in and we can talk about...
If you're going to leave a message or a voicemail, make sure you tell us your first name and where you're calling from, but do not say your phone number out loud on the phone.
On the phone, because we can't see it coming up.
Because we'll play it out loud and people will hear it.
And the other way, if you want to get in on the whole fun call thing, I'm going to fun you. It's going to be
fun to get you.
I'm going to fun and get you. We watched the movie last night. We watched the movie last night. What was it called? The Troop Zero. Troop Zero with
Jim Gaffigan.
And a bunch of what's her name?
Violet? What's her name?
Viola
Davis.
Viola Davis.
That's it.
And, geez.
Oh, yeah.
They're getting serious now. Don't make me come over there, will you?
We got quite the Super Chat challenge going on.
Yeah,
it's a challenge.
It's
a
Super Chat challenge. Okay, so we did have a gift, and it came from, I can't turn around here.
T.I. Mattis.
From Tammy Mattis, our viewer and friend. And so it might be a sand project because it's addressed to the World Sand Project. It is our UPS address, but it's addressed to...
you guys liked watching us open boxes. So
let's see what we got here.
we go ahead and do that.
Let's see. Why don't you keep the troops entertained while I'm doing this?
Okay. Well, as we mentioned, we had a couple of shows earlier today. One was our World Sand Project, where we talked about the sand from Santa Barbara's beach, the Ledbetter Beach at Santa Barbara, Toby talked all about the documentary he did on that area of the oil spill that occurred in 1969. So make sure you check that out at World Sand Project on YouTube. We got another super chat challenge from William. We're going to give him
Wow, she really
a
picked
little
this
bell
well.
for him. Sean Scott
Sean Scott.
jumping in on the super chat challenge.
He gave us $1.99, but he promised 50.
Aha, he's going to hand us 50.
Yeah.
That way super chat doesn't go to YouTube. It goes to us. Woohoo!
Okay, so here is a very nice handwritten letter from Tammy.
Oh, boy. I'll start reading it. This is
Is what came in the box.
Oh, a bag. Toby and Shelley. Hey, you guys. I've been meaning to send you these for some time now. Look up procrastinator, and my picture should be there. Sometimes
Did we just do a show on the softer side on that?
Sometimes I even make a game of it that I call How Long Can I Put It Off? Anyways, it's not sand, but clear quartz crystal from Mount Ida, Arkansas. About 10 years ago, Rex and I took a vacation to dig crystal. We spent a week at Mount Ida, Arkansas. At the time, property owners, a few, would let you dig their property for a price. It was hard work, but so much fun. I'm a rock hound.
Indeed
Fancy.
is. A beautiful number of quartz crystals. Now, for those of you that don't know it,
It's got all kinds of points on it.
once
Fancy.
quartz comes out of the granite, it flows down the river and into the ocean, then onto the beaches, and that's why
like that.
most sand
Sparkly.
grains are actually quartz. The majority of sand grains, the majority of the ones we looked at today, were definitely quartz. So,
Some of the places had been digging with big machines and busting up everything, but just clearing the land with no regard to the fantastic crystal formations. I made it my mission to cha-ching, 3D bronze.
it's got that easy. Very
A
nice.
cape and rod would be cool. Somebody's sending me a scepter.
Somebody,
I heard.
Tony Henman said he was
Yeah.
going to send you one.
There you go.
So you know what we could do with some of this? We could put it in the treasure chest.
Oh, I thought we were going to put it in my crown.
Oh,
I should put it in my crown right there. No, not quite.
well, at least I didn't have to take it away.
Yeah, well, let's see. I made it my mission to rescue as many as possible. I asked Rex how much weight the truck would carry. He said 500 pounds. We didn't and couldn't weigh everything, but we believe that's what we packed home. Large size white quartz. Oh,
Look at this one.
another Caperdan. Nice point there.
So these are all quartz crystals here that Tammy sent us, and some of
Nicely
that
made.
is that's nature has that way.
Interesting. I like it.
That's how a quartz crystal will grow if you let it.
Happy birthday, K-Pro. Is that her birthday?
Is it K-Pro's birthday? Oh,
Said, thanks, Copperdan. Please send coin 3.
K-Pro, is it your birthday?
Da, 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 da.
Because I can now play Happy Birthday on the ukulele.
We have the birthday video. We can
Oh, I can't entertain our viewers.
play. Well, I guess you can. Large size white quartz surrounds the outside of our house. I have read that crystal keeps away bad spirits. Woo-hoo! Also, the pigmented one is considered a healing crystal, or so I read. But we scientifically know it's just iron or the local dirt causing the pigmentation.
Right.
I keep a large one beside my bed. Woo-woo or not. Hope you love them. Make Shelley another necklace, Toby. With love, Tammy. Yeah.
Thank you,
Very
Tammy. That
nice.
was very
Thank
kind.
you.
I will take that single
some
crystal and make
applause.
it into a necklace for Shelley. And we'll add some to our rock collection because quartz is a mineral and fits into the rock
Are you
side
going
of
to play
geology.
her happy birthday? It is her birthday.
It is. Let's play Happy Birthday. Dang nabbit.
This is
Wish I had known.
K-Pro.
K-Pro.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
Birthday, dear Christy. Happy birthday to you. Birthday to you.
birthday to you. Yay. Oh, Tammy's in the room? Yep. Tammy, thank you very much. Those are beautiful. I will make Shelley out of the single crystal. I'll make Shelley a necklace out of that. We'll put some in the treasure chest and pay those forward, and then we'll add the others to our rock collection.
Nice.
And eventually we're going to be adding rocks to the World Sand Project, not as a main line, but you can't get away from it because that's where all that sand is coming from the granitic and the basaltic rock above it. So,
Shadowcaster says, are you looking for sand from anywhere specific in Montana, Idaho, or Wyoming area?
no, not any place specific. Shadowcaster, any place that there's sand. And what qualifies as sand are...
If there's a dinosaur bone in there, though,
that would be
cool.
helpful. Yeah. What qualifies as sand is anything smaller than 2 millimeters and larger than 0.65 millimeters. So just fill a little plastic, but no, you don't have to fill. 2 or 3 tablespoons full in a plastic bag is enough. And make sure you get your postage right because I didn't.
K-Pro is the youngest person in the room. I think Corey Jacobs has her beat.
I don't know.
I think he only turned 30 the other day or
So,
last month.
Rio de los Pinos to Christy.
Yahoo! Happy birthday.
So I did get my birthday present ukulele. It's beautiful. It's an Enya ukulele. And I promised myself the first song I'm going to learn on it is Happy Birthday. And I'm about halfway towards being comfortable with it.
He played it for me yesterday, but it wasn't quite ready yet. Not quite ready for prime time.
Not quite ready for prime time. I want to show it to you because it's really a beautiful
Maybe
ukulele.
tomorrow.
Okay, let's do, did I get emails out? We did gifts.
We did gifts.
Thank you, Tammy. And let's do email. Who did $24.99?
That was William or...
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that was William. Okay.
Hair club for men isn't just a fashion.
No, it's not. Look at this. See this? See this beautiful head of hair? That's all hair club for men.
I don't know if they could hear that
Oh.
because you took your mic off.
I want them. I'll never. There's my mic up in my mouth.
Tasty.
Okay, yours is fine.
Mine's fine.
Mine's fine. I went to go see 1917 with my friend Janet yesterday. They gave it if it doesn't win a bunch of Academy Awards, I'll be surprised. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It is amazing. It looks like it's all done in one continuous take.
Shadowcaster.
Like it's
what
one
address should it
effectively
be
seen.
shipped to? Look at the one in the description box below.
Description box below,
That's our
Shadowcaster.
business address.
And you know what you could do as a favor, Shadowcaster? If you would go to World Sand Project here. I'm going to do it right now so you can see. Es es importante.
Es muy importante.
Muy importante.
Sí, sí.
So,
Sabor
let's
a
see.
mí.
Tanto tiempo. That's the second song I'm going to learn on the ukulele. Tanto tiempo disfrutamos de este amor. Okay, Shadowcaster. I am going to put this link in the room right now. So, what is wrong with YouTube? Okay. Let me just.
1970 rocks. 1917.
Yeah, 1917 was amazing. And if you saw the
World
movie,
War One, right?
yeah, 1917. It's the Brits, though. It's not Americans.
Oh, it's focused
Yeah,
on the British.
it's
Just sort of like They Shall Not Grow Old.
yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And if you saw They Shall Not Grow Old, it puts this particular film in great perspective. Oh. Okay, so let me do a screenshot
and I think
here
that's
first.
available on one of the streaming services. I don't remember if it's
Amazon.
Netflix. Is it Amazon?
Amazon. Amazon Prime. So we did a video that is about 5 minutes and 39 seconds long on how to collect and send us a sample of sand. And I would appreciate it, Shadowcaster, if you're going to send one, that you go watch that video
Except
first.
don't believe the 2-stamp rule because
Yeah.
that was disproven.
Yeah. Don't put, you got to have the post office weigh it for you or give you weigh it for postage. So there's the link to that video. And the other one that I'd like you to watch is when I first returned to New Mexico, I was asked to teach a course in documentary making at the local public access station. Hang on. Didn't spell that right. And there was a woman in my class. Her name was Janet Bridgers. Over the time that I spent in Albuquerque, Janet became a good friend, and we ended up doing 2 documentaries together. And she's still a close friend. As a matter of fact, she's the person when I want to go see a war movie. She's the one that calls me, and we go see it because she's a history buff as well. And so we went to. That's who I went with to see the movies. She's the president of Earth Alert, which is an environmental activism organization. And in 2011, she was in my class in 2010. And about, I don't know, the 5th or 6th lecture, she came up to me and she said, I don't feel like I have the skills to do this. Would you like to make a documentary with me? And I said, yes, that I would. And the reason I'm mentioning this is today we had a sand sample.
Sarah said, need more ukulele.
Yeah, you're gonna get some. You're gonna be over ukulele here. I'll get it. What is that?
I don't know.
Oh, quartz.
Oh, quartz.
Be careful. That will cut you.
I don't know. It's just a flake.
Anyway, so we worked on this documentary, and the reason it was important to her is it's based on the spill that took place off the coast of California in 1969 at Santa Barbara. And today on the World Sand Channel, we were looking at a sample of sand from Santa Barbara, and it reminded me of this film. And then I remembered that last year they celebrated the 50th anniversary of that event. It's on January 28th. So I figured since it was getting close to January 28th, if you get a chance and you want to see, so I worked on over 200 documentaries. 200 of them were for the federal government, and you will never see them. There have been 3 that I've done since coming. Well, there's actually been more than that. There have been 1, 2, 3.
Adelante.
Adelante. So there have been 5 since I came back to New Mexico before I retired. 2 of them were with Janet Bridgers. One is called The Stories of the Spill, and the second is called Heroes of the Coast. But this is, next week we'll be celebrating the 51st anniversary of the Santa Barbara oil spill. And it was the Santa Barbara oil spill and the activism that followed it, Proposition 20, the California Coastal Protection Act, was the result of activism that was a result of that spill. And so we made a really good documentary. So if you ever get a chance and you want to see some of my documentary, let me see, I think I'm listed here as and you want to see some of my documentary work, and you want to see how committed I am to the environment, because it was tell me that word again. Birthplace of the environmental movement in the United States, 1969, Santa Barbara. Go see the movie, and you can see it at this link.
So we have a question about the Forrest Fenn Treasure. Would that be out of line here?
Jesus Christ, why? I mean, okay, I'll take it. What?
So Maverick wants to know, have you ever made a solve without using maps or internet, just the poem and book?
Have I ever? No. No. I rely on maps and I rely on the internet to provide me access to those maps, because I use both. Well, they're not paper anymore, but they're the equivalent of paper maps online, as well as Google Earth and other G-mapping resources like that.
Sandoval, why is this name Wood? Shelley asked Toby. I don't know what that means. Sandoval, why is this name Wood? Sandoval is the name of the county we live in.
Oh, Doug Carver. Sandoval is the name of the county that we live in. Actually, that's not true.
Will you wear a grass skirt and cute Hawaiian shirt when you debut? I think that's you for your ukulele.
Oh, I don't know.
You could put the Jimmy Buffett shirt on.
I was going to wear those coconut things.
Yeah, well, that's kind of weird. But.
Okay, all right. You ready for some email?
Sure. Greg
Greg
Keller's
Keller.
here.
Can't spell AGK without GK.
Where have you been, Greg?
Where have you been, Greg? You haven't
We
been
have
in
missed
the.
you.
We've missed you in the.
And we've missed Karen, too. Karen
we've
hasn't been
missed
there either.
you in the.
For that matter, where was Alicia? We don't know where any of you are. Did you
We're
all
almost-
run off together?
Are
Did you start your own group
searching-
without us?
Searching for the treasure. Okay. Oh, Sarah's birthday is a January birthday too, K-Pro.
Wait,
just
no,
had her-
Alicia was there. Hooli was missing.
Hooli was there.
Hooli, where's
Well, you never
Hooli?
know with Hooli because, oh no, she has to sign on, right? We got to see
Yeah, she would
at
be
least the
there.
computer. Hooli usually signs on in two different
Besides,
locations.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to read this first one because
But we had a new member last night. You missed it, Greg.
so this is from Kid Freshie. And it says, your thoughts on Fenn's motivation for the treasure hoax? Question mark. Yes, use the word hoax. All right, let's see what he's got here. Hi, Toby. Up until about a year ago, I'd watched all your videos. I'd been a believer and been boots on the grounds many times, but then gave up. Curious about the current state of the search. I just watched your most recent video and agree that knowing the man behind the poem is key to solving it, be the Fenn, as you say. So being the Fenn, I think the hunt is a hoax. I'd like your thoughts on my theory first and accurate historical timeline. Summer 1977, Fenn is involved in a tax fraud scheme, accused of giving a dubious appraisal for a Massasoit sculpture. 1987, 10 years later, Fenn purchases and begins excavating San Lazaro. Numerous altercations, state and federal legal filings, accusations and affidavits are filed regarding his work there, possibly being illegal due to possible human burials being disturbed. The issues with the feds continued until he sells San Lazaro around 2014. So the feds aren't going to win any of those because that's his property. And it doesn't make any... Well, all right. 1988, Fenn is diagnosed with cancer. He stated his stated reason for writing the poem and hiding the treasure. I don't believe... Well, okay, so some of your facts, your quote, facts, unquote, are a little bit wrong as of now. 1988 to 2009, Fenn claims to be writing the poem, but for over 20 years, Fenn doesn't publish the poem or mention any treasure to anyone. No, that is incorrect. There are several of his friends that he had conversations about both with. Early June 2009, Fenn begins major crackdown on... Oh, the feds began a major crackdown on stolen antiquities, and a total of 24 people are indicted, 23 arrested, and 12 homes searched. Fenn's was one of them. As part of and they didn't do anything. As part of this crackdown, Fenn is recorded telling an informant, Ted Gardner, how to circumvent federal laws regarding antiquities. Apparently, that never wasn't proven because it never made it to court. June 11, 2009, James Redd, one of those arrested and charged, commits suicide. Don't know what that has to do with anything, but on June 12, 2009, the feds raid Fenn's home and seize property. A buffalo skull, a feathered talisman, a basket, computers, and documents based on the scope of the raids, aggressiveness of prosecution, and charges already filed against others. He knows he may be facing multiple felonies and perhaps the rest of his life in prison. None of that happened. I mean, none of that. He wasn't charged, and he didn't have to spend any time in prison. June 19, 2009, Stephen... okay, so he's got a lot of things in here related to that. Santa Fe reporter, stealing the past, detailing the Fed's crackdown, mentioning Fenn, showing his plane, Fenn says, okay. My theory, so I'm going to... You've got a lot of things in here, some of which are close to being factual, some of which are not accurately factual. My theory is that Fenn, based upon his experiences, likely possesses strong anti-government sentiment, and so, around 2009, 2010, after the shocking events with the federal government, he put much of his liquidity into gold, a common financial plan among those with anti-government leanings, and hid it either to avoid taxes, either taxes he personally owes or taxes his heirs may owe, or because of a belief that the government will outlaw private gold ownership as they did until 1975. The feds can't tax or confiscate what they can't prove. He fits the profile for someone of those of us in the investment community refer as a gold bug, someone who believes in the government as an enemy and will conspire to oppress them, will reduce the vault of fiat currency will outlaw gold, someone who fears inflation, fears the feds, etc. My theory is that he likely did hide his gold, but for his heirs to claim it once...
Maverick wants to know, is this a screenplay? Because I'd watch it.
So here's the deal, Kid Freshie. First of all, your theories are theories, but they're based upon facts, some of which are incorrect. So you'll have to go back and deal with that first. Your hypothesis that somehow he's, of a libertarian bent and did all this to hide some gold is possible, but I can't see the likelihood of it because people that behave in that manner don't behave like he does. He puts himself out in public. He is constantly being interviewed. So the people that behave...
He writes books about himself.
The people that behave the way that you describe them as anti-government, describe that the possibility of offense like that, anti-government, don't like being out in the public. And the reason is it's not a popular idea. There are a few of them out there, but there's very few. Their numbers are limited, and they they communicate in colonies, in hives, and they communicate amidst one another. And Fenn isn't anything like that. He seems to be a normal old guy who made a good living, has made some investments, has money in the bank, and has found a way to put some gold in a treasure chest. And it's so hypothetical. I'm sorry, I can't think of another way to say this, and I hope I don't hurt your feelings. This is so hypothetical, it's not even worth addressing.
All right,
Next.
Moving on to something pleasant. We have a nice little note that we got in the mail from Ob Ord, also known as George. And when I read it, I said, this guy was raised right. Dear Toby and Shelley, thank you so very much for the nice gift prizes you sent to me. I really like them and appreciate what you have done for me. It is rare that I win anything, so this is an event in my life. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you, and we'll see you soon on your show. Happy searching. Sincerely, Ob Ord George.
Bless his heart.
I know. What a nice thing.
He was raised rat.
Yeah, sending thank you notes when you get something from somebody. That's the way we used to behave.
What happened? Gene Cedar in the Facebook room. How are you doing tonight?
Everybody just texts instead. Got it. Thanks. Thumbs up.
Got that thing.
Thank you, George. An applause for you.
Oh, one last thing, Freshie. If you believe it's a hoax, stop wasting your time. Just go on with life.
Yeah, move along.
It'll just make you unhappy.
All right. This is from David Ward, and it's called Hell's Creek Formation. Hi, Shelley and Toby. Need your opinion. Could the home of Brown be the home of Barnum Brown? Looking forward to your show tonight. David Ward.
So Barnum Brown, man, that's a rabbit hole I haven't gone down in a couple of years. So, David, I went down that same rabbit hole, the home of Brown being Barnum Brown, and it's a rabbit hole. And the reason is the Hells Creek Formation, with which he is famously associated, is way over in the western corner of Montana. Some of it slips into North Dakota and then down into South Dakota. So it's not on the map, unless somehow or the other Barnum Brown moved west in Montana and found another place. But when I think of the home of Barnum Brown, I think of the Hell Creek Formation. For those of you who aren't familiar with him, Barnum Brown was the paleontologist that in the early 1900s, 1902, 1903, excavated the first Tyrannosaurus Rex set of bones that had ever been discovered, and they were discovered in the Hell Creek Formation in his case, Montana. And I'd bet dollars to donuts that Fenn has visited there because he has a little bit of paleontologist in him. But the Barnum Brown rabbit hole is just that. It's a rabbit hole.
Okay, should I do some of these or this one, or what do you want?
What's that one? No, go ahead. That's nice and short.
Oh, okay. This is from Marla in Kansas, and the title is Scrapbooks. Hi, Toby. I just watched one of your recent live streams, and again you said there was no value in reading Mr. Fenn's scrapbooks. I have read all of them, and many have clues or hints that help me to narrow down my search spot. Why do you believe that they aren't helpful to searchers? Thank you for all the work you and Shelley put into informing the community. Marla.
So number one, Marla, the only thing I recommend is that people do what Forrest Fenn recommended they do, and that is read the blogs for entertainment. And all his scrapbooks are on Dale Neitzel's blog. He calls everything, he generalizes. What we do, he calls a blog. But he generalizes. They're on Dale Neitzel's. He says, read those for entertainment. We read him for not only the entertainment, because he is a good writer and he's fun to read, but we also read them with the objective of learning more about Forrest himself, because as I have said in the recent past, in order to get this thing all figured out, you're going to have to be the Fenn. And that's the benefit that the scrapbooks provide. To the best of my knowledge, we're going to start doing it. Okay, we're changing Rio de los Pinos drinking game to Be the Fenn drinking game.
Be the Fenn.
Be the Fenn. So I've got quartz all over my table here, so I'm trying not to cut my hand.
Well, then wait, you.
I will. Let me finish this. So that's the first thing. We're not saying ignore them. We're saying reading them for the entertainment of reading Forrest Fenn's writing and learning more about the individuals so that you can be the Fenn, find this treasure. The second thing is there is no indication to me that Forrest has ever said that there is anything outside of the thrill of the chase or the poem that have hints or clues. Those are interpretations by people who are searching for the treasure or evaluating the treasure or evaluating everything that isn't the thrill of the chase. So the reason I don't put any stock into him is because he has said, the one thing that he has said repeatedly is the clues are in the poem, the hints are in the thrill of the chase, if you're smart enough to find them. I've never heard him say there is anything that's going to cut you some slack of some kind after the book is published, and including all of the scrapbooks. And the other thing that's interesting, that I find interesting, is that almost everyone who believes that there's something in the scrapbook will make an interpretation that is different from everyone else's interpretation of that scrapbook. So it doesn't make sense that if it is a clue or a hint, it's different to everybody. If Warm Water's Halt is different to everybody, we'll never find this thing. So it's not that I don't think the scrapbooks are important. I just don't think the scrapbooks hold hints or clues. And that's because Forrest has told us where the hints and clues are. He has never said there are hints and clues in the scrapbooks. And unless Forrest says it, then it's not fact. If Forrest were to come out one day and say, read those scrapbooks because there's lots of hints and then those clues, I will eat the paper on which your email is written.
Even with all the quartz stuck on the back.
Even with all this quartz on it. But it is my belief and opinion that he has never said that. And I'm willing to put dollars against donuts that if you were to ask Forrest, you know what, I'm going to write him tonight. If you were to ask Forrest Fenn if there was any value in the scrapbooks, he would respond by saying no. That would be the fact. So until you hear Forrest Fenn, until I hear Forrest Fenn saying there are hints and clues in the scrapbooks, read The Thrill of the Chase and analyze the poem. The scrapbooks are a waste of your time, your money, and your effort.
Well, they're not a waste of time. I mean, if
No. For
there's
the
worse
purposes
wastes of time.
for the purposes of entertainment, do me a favor and hand me that brush. Oh, can you? No, you know what? Let me do it. It's not your fault.
I can get it. Just reach over. See? Just like that.
I've got to brush all this quartz off here before I do.
Don't brush it at me.
Entertain the folks.
You want to brush it into a treasure chest? We could scoop it into.
I was just going to put it into this sand sample from
So basically, if you think, if you think that what Forrest has already told us, which was read the blogs for entertainment, was incorrect, then you probably didn't believe him when he said there is no such thing as a lead searcher either. In which case, why would you believe him when he says anything, including that he hid a treasure? Believe what he says.
Yeah.
Because what's the other alternative? All right, here we go.
Yeah, Schatz, you keep believing that. I'm not going to, it's not my intention to change your opinion. I'm expressing my opinion on the matter. And if you have evidence to the contrary, please share it with me.
Yep, we want citations, though. Things that either Forrest himself wrote or was recorded saying. We don't want so look it up over here and it's there and trust me. We don't want that.
Again, Vanishing Race, if you have a citation where Forrest himself
but
says...
But we'll give you this.
Or Forrest himself has said there are hints in the scrapbooks, I'll eat it.
All righty.
Shadowcaster, Toby, what's this secret of yours that I keep hearing about? Shadow, I promised that I wouldn't bring this up.
Toby likes feet.
But...
Somebody said that Holy was gone because she was getting a pedicure for you.
To put in her avatar?
I guess so.
Let's see. Okay, go ahead. Read some mail.
Bear spray from Steve. Hello, Toby and Shelley.
Go ahead. I got to tell you a story.
Wanted to share a story with you about my experiences with bear spray. Okay, first off, I love that you made your words so big. I do this in my email too. When I send an email, mine is also big so people can see it. Thank you. I appreciate this, Steve. I wanted to share a story with you about my experiences with bear spray. I do carry bear spray. However, the seal or the plastic tie on the can has never been broken. I'm not real sure my reason for even taking it along, except maybe for security in my mind. Black bears are in my area, but I've never had a black bear to stick around very long once he has realized that he has company. Cougars have been more of a concern than a black bear in my area. Attached photo. I think you could get rid of a cougar with bear spray too, though.
You could, yeah.
By the way, I do carry a pistol. The spray is my backup. The spray is always in my backpack.
I wouldn't do that. Make the spray your primary and then the pistol to backup. Yeah. Don't start with a pistol.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to piss them off.
He's right. The spray is always in my backpack and only take it out when it's in my way of getting to the food. Taking a small trash sack every time that I'm boots on the ground and picking up old cans, bottles, and even an empty bear spray can seems to be a hobby of mine. Retrieving over 15 gallons of trash in 2019 is the least that I can do for enjoying my time in the woods. In the old days, throwing trash on the ground and in the streams was pretty common, but I'm hoping that is changing with the rule you pack it in, you pack it out. For now, I'll continue to pick up the trash that has been left behind and encourage others to do the same. I feel the same way. I don't know why people do that. It's just so disrespectful. Well, if you haven't guessed it by now, I pick up a bear spray can without a second thought. The can was empty. Before long, it was sacked up and in my backpack. Never even had a thought about the residue on the can being still active. It was about an hour later. It was time to take a break. Sitting down to eat an apple, I pulled out my knife and cut the apple in half. After the first bite, the taste did not seem right, so I took a second bite. There was something wrong with this apple. Someone must have put hot sauce on it or pepper on it at the store. Placing the remaining part of the apple into the trash sack, it was beginning to burn my mouth. My mouth was on fire, and I pulled out the water bottles. Not much help, but that is when I realized it was the bear spray. Boy, what an idiot. Did you know bear spray doesn't come off easy? You must wear it off. And fact is, if you touch anything, it spreads. My eyes were next. My mouth was ablaze. Not the Forrest Fenn blaze I'd been looking at on the canyon wall. For now, that blaze was on the back burner. Emptying all my water bottles, and about an hour later, the pain was letting up in my mouth and eyes. Making my way back down the trail and back to the pickup, around the middle of my back was burning. Thinking this was pretty strange, it was time to investigate the inside of my pack. Really not sure if I spilled the bear spray in my pack or the spray penetrated the plastic sack, but that stuff works. After a shower and an empty bottle of eye wash, the burnings seemed to be letting up. So the next day I returned to my search area. However, there was a couple of times that day my eyes and back would start burning. In my experience, it looks to me like bear spray would work and really make a bear think twice about eating you. Maybe I should have paid attention better when Cynthia made her bear spray video. And as always, love the show. Okie Tarman.
Oki is one of our members, huh?
Yeah.
He sent us a photograph on a shirt. That's his foot next to a mountain lion's paw print.
Oh, yes.
That's a pretty good sized little mountain lion there.
Well, yeah, they have.
Yeah, so
good-sized
I don't
feeties.
recommend to anyone that you try your bear spray on anything but a wild animal.
Milk, I needed milk.
But they consist of
would help.
there are cases where it hasn't worked, but for the most part they work, and it's going to work a lot. It is far more likely to work than you using a firearm of diminutive size, and in this case 9 millimeters diminutive size, to try and stop that bear. It's only going to anger him, and then it's going to be too late to get out your bear spray. And the other thing is, take that nylon wire tie wrap that prevents you from using the trigger, take it off and put it outside your backpack, preferably on your belt. Otherwise, you're not taking the situation seriously. If it's in your backpack and you have to take off your back, you're bear poop at that point.
Gregory Colvin Garcia says, buy the holster when it comes to bear spray and use the trigger lock. Also practice in the wild with wind so you get a real world idea of how it actually works best.
Yeah. So you started a whole foot thing with that comment. It's now the World Foot Channel.
Well, they wanted to know what your secret was.
Feet under the microscope, for God's sake.
Microscope. We'll have a new show called Looking for Fungus.
Oh, so that just grossed me out.
I know. It's funny. It was a
Let's
joke,
see.
people.
Gypsy Kiss, but if
joke.
not said here tonight, my permission is revoked and Mike is going to kill me. What? What was that? I missed something.
I don't know.
K-Pro's got something.
Revoking permission for what?
Toby Gallatin. Toby is playing coy. Ask him. Let's see. What is going on in the room? Pinto Sykes. So you guys are all into feet? So you've created a monster. Okay, I don't know what was going on in the room with K-Pro and Gallatin, and I can't figure it out because bear spray will spice up your love life for one night, and then your wife will divorce you.
Love life.
Or your significant other.
Oh, there's actual products you can buy that are actually safe for sort of things.
And
don't use bear spray.
Yeah, you don't want bear spray. And, the stuff is only $35. I know that seems like a lot if you're only going, but you got to ask yourself, is your life worth $35? If you're going into areas where you're going to run into grizzlies. Now, we're very fortunate here down in New Mexico, and that we'll occasionally run into brown bears.
The thrill of the foot.
And that, what?
The thrill of the foot.
Are related that we have not brown bears, we have black bears, but they're few and far between. I've been fishing and hiking all over New Mexico and searching for
she
treasure.
says, you got to say, K-Pro says, you got to say if you have any other info about scrapbooks being important or not. Do you have a secret?
I do have a secret. I do have a secret. The problem is that secret is twice removed from Forrest Fenn. So the secret is not the words of Forrest Fenn. I told you I'm going to write him tonight. He doesn't often answer me, but I am going to write him tonight and ask him, Dear Dr. Fenn, how many hints and clues, I'm going to ask him that way, how many hints and or clues will I find in your scrapbooks? And I'll bet you the answer.
Vanishing Race
Yeah.
is insisting there's something at the bottom of 207. I don't know why he won't just put it in the chat
Just
room.
put it in the chat
what it
room. Just
says.
copy the phrase and put it in the chat room.
Yeah.
Copy it and put it in the chat room. We have 2 more emails that we got here. Okay. You want to grab these?
Oh, you going to print them out?
Yeah, doing it right now.
Alrighty.
There's the first one. Ooh,
I always try to give writers something they can use. that's quite the leap to think that that means exactly what you want it to mean. 3D bronze.
Here's the other one.
3D bronze.
I don't
also.
have a secret foot fetish.
Oh, I thought he said he
so
also.
let's get this straight.
Maybe he's saying he also has one.
A foot fetish. Could
Or
you
he
make
has
could you make a foot in 3D? That would be interesting.
3D foot
No.
bronze.
All right. So let's
3D
get
bronze
let's get
foot.
this out of the way. I have a fetish. Like most men, I do have a fetish. But it's based on on the relationship with my two aunts, Aunt Pauline and Aunt Linda. When I was about the age of probably around 12 or 13. And that's where my fetish is based. It's not a foot fetish, okay?
I'm reading your comments. I just don't see anything that's telling me what he said.
Who?
You're just telling us to go look stuff up. I'm asking you if you have the answer, just put it out there.
Just put it out there. That's what we do with our
Put it out
members.
We don't look stuff up during
Cadell
our
Kahn
show.
says, new scrapbook is out. You know what he's going to do? Now what he's going to do is he's going to write a scrapbook and he's going to say, make sure you read all my other scrapbooks because they're filled with hints and clues. Yeah, you know what? You know where I put the scrapbooks in terms of mythology? Up there on the bookshelf right next to Lead Searcher, brothers and sisters. Okay, wait. You're email reader. I'm just the
Play
answer.
the intro so we can see Shelley's feet. A dangerous race to the treasure. Do you think there is any chance Forrest Fenn might decide to end the chase this winter because it is about to turn into a race rather than a hunt come spring? Really? Did he give us the answer as to where it is?
Yes, Sarah Kinzer, it was anti-love.
Anti-love.
Anti-love. Auntie Linda and Auntie Linda from Texas and Auntie Pauline from Pennsylvania. They were good to me. Do you think there is any chance Forrest Fenn might decide? No, there is no chance that Forrest Fenn is going to end the chase this winter or any winter, anytime in the future. He's going to let this thing go until he passes away, and he's going to be looking at us from the heaven that Forrest Fenn has decided upon and giggling at us the whole time. No. It's going to be the same. This spring is going to be the same as last spring. We're going to take our theories and we're going to go out and bounce
Every
around.
year's a little bit different theme, though. Last year it was the whole second place thing.
Right.
I found the hole. Somebody got there first.
Yeah.
I'm going to write a book about it.
Yeah. So here's the deal.
Good for you.
We've been looking for this thing. It's coming up
I'm
on
lead
10 years.
searcher.
Right. Someday somebody's going to find it. It might be this spring, but it's not a race, and he's not going to make it any
And
easier.
you know how many people we had on
than
the
he has
rooster
already.
roster this year? How many of them found the treasure and brought it home?
This conversation is
0.
getting creepy. It is kind of sad.
Maybe it is
We'll try.
time for me to give another hint. Okay, that was the quote from Forrest Scrapbook 207.
Yeah.
Maybe it is time for me to give another hint.
Sarah Kinzer says, the ant comment is now more scary fetish. Must clarify. It's not.
There were beautiful women, and he liked beautiful women. What's so hard? He still does like beautiful women. in
That's
fact.
true. I do like beautiful women.
Anyway, that's all it was. Forrest's latest interview from Steve.
Vanishing. See, that's what I mean by it. Forrest did not say there are hints or clues in Scrapbook 207 or any other scrapbook. That's a statement that that's a Forrest flashbang. Boom. Distraction.
Maybe it's time to give
It
another
leaves
hint.
everybody.
It's not a hint.
It leaves everybody discombobulated for a while, for a couple of weeks until they come back to their senses.
We need a list of where it's not hidden. Okay, it's not hidden in a shoebox in my closet. It's not hidden in
What's
a
not hidden?
shoebox in Toby's closet,
What?
where the treasure's not hidden.
Oh, treasure's not anywhere near.
About a bazillion
Barnley.
places it's not. That's not helpful. Forrest's latest interview. Forrest, in latest interview with Cal Lasers, K-Pro, and Cynthia, said he hid the chest, then wrote the poem. But he has also said he took 15 years to write the poem. If he is right in what he said in the recent interview, then should still be writing the poem? Is he confused? Has the chest, in fact, been sitting there for 25 years or so?
Was there a question in there?
Lots of questions.
Forrest, in the latest interview, Cal Lazar's K-Pro and Cynthia said he hid the chest and then wrote the poem. Yeah, that was a mistake.
Juno, we haven't seen you in a while.
But he also said it took 15 years to write the poem. That could have very well been taken. If he is right in what he said in the recent interview, then should you still be writing the poem? Is he confused? Has the chest, in fact, been sitting there 25 years or so? He's confused. He's 90. He's almost 90 years old. He can't remember all of that stuff. And as a matter of fact, that's why I think he's hesitant to give any more interviews, because I think there's a slight possibility that he's going to slip and give away something, but I think there's an even greater possibility that he's going to say stuff that doesn't make any damn sense, and that was one of them.
Okay, if anybody agrees with Vanishing Race that what was said in Scrapbook 207
indicates,
is a hint.
No. Indicates that there are hints, that what he's trying to say is use that as a basis for saying there are hints in the scrapbooks.
No, it's not what it said.
No. Well,
It didn't
I agree
say
with you.
that at
Yeah.
all.
Just to know one of the 15-year
He takes you
hints.
literally. Did you not hear him say that to Christy and Mike and Cynthia? I take you literally.
Yeah.
Do the same with him.
Yeah. Okay. Is that all the emails?
It is, yes.
Well, that was fun.
Absolutely. Maybe it's time for me to give
Hey, guys,
another
the
hint.
whole thing
He
with the
says
scrapbooks
another.
is my opinion. If you
Another.
want to believe that there are scrapbooks, that the scrapbooks are filled with hints and clues, please feel free to do so.
I would love that. You know, after 200 and some odd clues, we should have found the darn thing by now, I would think.
Yeah.
It's my thought.
So I'm entitled to my opinion. I'm especially entitled to my opinion on my show. But if you want to believe there are hints and clues in the scrapbooks, please feel free to do so.
Staring at his ants while elephants march by.
Yeah. Exactly.
His aunts.
Subscribe to my channel. Don't plan on making videos, but enjoy watching them. I don't know what that was about. Okay. What do we want to do now? Do we have text messages? We may not even have any. We could be able to go to phone calls. Let's see. Okay, so Steve keeps reminding me to send him those 2 pics that we were talking about last night.
2 pics. 2 pics.
From so 575, send me your name and the state from which you are texting. 575 says F leaves clues, F for Forrest, leaves clues and has left clues all over the place since the beginning. Apparently, 575, none of which has enabled any of the hundreds of thousands of people looking for the treasure to find it. So either Fenn sucks at leaving clues, or we suck at finding treasure.
Or both.
Or both. Okay. So that's it for text messages. Oh, damn, I didn't even play that. That's too late. So let's see if we have any voicemails. No, that was just that weird voicemail that we got before.
What are your thoughts regarding his mysterious writings, words, and Q&As?
They're certainly interesting, and there can be much to be derived, but the simple fact of the matter is he's never said anything in those that he hasn't already said already. That he hasn't, that's redundant, that he hasn't said already.
But maybe it should be redundant because it's
redundant.
about being redundant.
Because it's about being redundant.
That way it's meta redundant. What's happening?
Oh, I got my mountain streamer today. Thanks so much. I'm glad, Moni. Thank you. Moni was the one that won last week's prize. By the way, for next week, let's talk about prizes. If you make a comment on the last Wednesday's World Sand Project, you can win this 4x6 die sublimation print made by yours truly of the sand from the arroyo near Shelley's house.
Where I found gold.
Because we were point. And then and we're going to do a second drawing for one of the pendants. This one has a red
Maybe there's a
Swarovski
piece of
crystal.
gold in there too.
So this is the Rio Rancho Arroyo sand pendant. So there'll be 2 separate drawings for that on the World Sand Project. And then for next week, and you need to make a comment on Wednesday's World Sand Project show, this last one. And then, which is where we did the Rio Rancho sand sample. And then for this week on the Gypsy Kiss channel is this 4x6 dye sublimation print by yours truly, mounted and matted and signed, of a streamer that's referred to as a dirty hippie. So that's for next Wednesday. We'll give those away. Go make a comment on last Wednesday's show to qualify. Lots of people have already.
Not going to say any more about scrapbooks tonight.
Scrapbooks are done.
We're done.
We're done with scrap. We've made a statement on scrapbooks, so we're done with scrapbooks. Somebody has evidence
End of
to
story. Moving on to
let's open
the
up
next video. What do we do? Our little promo video.
You want to do it? Which promo? The
I don't know. Pick one. We've got 3.
Member Vault.
So if you're a brand new searcher, what's the first thing you want to do is read the book. So we're going to read the book. And then we're going to also, at the same time, match it up to the poem. So what did this chapter say to you about what do you see in the poem? How do they fit together? So we're going to work the poem and the book together. Now you can join at any time. It's going to be an open door membership. In the bonus section on the Member Vault, we have added 2 videos that Toby produced.
Is he saying there is stuff in life that isn't worthy of spending time knowing, or that the real test of your intelligence is knowing the stuff that everybody else thinks is not worthy of knowing?
You know, when he talks about no special knowledge is needed to find the treasure, but maybe you need to know those things not worthy of knowing in order to find the treasure.
I really like that promo. So join us on the Member Vault. You'll see a link to gypsykiss.com to join the Member Vault. We spend 4 hours a week talking about the thrill of the chase, the poem, horses, puppies. And every once in a while, somebody says, I want my turn at presenting the theory. Their theory. And they get to present their theory in front of the rest of the community. And we get to beat it up. We do it politely, but hey, you know, that's what you do it for. All right, you know what? Guess what time it is? Here's phone lines are open, 202-815-1171. Sienna Jeep, where can I get the poem for Forrest Fenn?
On the internet.
On the
Just
internet. Go to
type in-
Google and search Forrest Fenn Treasure Poem.
Yep.
And you'll get 100, or if you haven't bought the book. But the easiest way to do is go to Forrest Fenn Treasure Poem, Google Forrest Fenn Treasure Poem, and you'll get it all. All 24 lines. Or if you like, call me sometime and I'll recite the entire poem. Hey, when you send a text message, make sure that you include your name and the state from which you are texting so that I can say something nice about you. Phone lines are open, 202-815-1171. Yes, that is a Washington, D.C. area code. Oh, and Sarah said something that I didn't catch back up. What did she say?
I don't know.
It was funny.
Somebody from Oregon. Is it Sturm?
I don't know. Hey, you reached Toby and Shelley on a Gypsy's Kiss. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And
What's up?
What's up? What do you got to
Hey,
talk?
what's up, guys? It's 3D Bronze.
Oh, 3D
Ooh,
Bronze.
3D. Hey, brother.
Hey, so I hope everything's going good. Thanks for being a good sport. I know the comments sometimes get out of control, but we just like to have fun.
You know what?
Um,
And we know that, and that's why we don't get. That's the moderators can
having
take care of the
fun. That's what
stuff
we're here
that.
for.
Yeah, we're just having fun.
Yeah, we're all just blowing off steam, right?
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to just ask you guys about something. I'm sure I'll know what your opinion is, but one of the things is I've never searched New Mexico.
Yeah.
And I'd like to, but I've been up north, a few times, and my attention always goes that direction. But there's something, always in the back of my mind, like I think a lot of searches, is that logic kind of pulls me to New Mexico. And I keep thinking it's fun to search up north, and it seems like that's the more romantic notion, that it would be up north by, Yellowstone area. But I still, there's something that keeps telling me, it makes more sense it would be in New Mexico. And there was a comment, though, that Forrest said when he was being interviewed by K-Pro. And he's talked about it a little bit before, but he more emphasized on it, that everything had to be just right, and that there were several things. I think there was a debate about how many things. He said 8 or 9 things.
Yeah.
It had to be just right in order for it to work. And that one of the things was that nobody was around when he went to hide the treasure.
Right.
And to me, though, that kind of feels like if it was somewhere in New Mexico that wasn't that far from his house, why would all these things have to be right? And why would, he could have just driven there from his house, and if there was somebody there, just turned around and went back home if it was in New Mexico. But if he was trying to cover his tracks and he was going, let's say, to the Cody Museum, and he was going to hide the treasure, and he knew this was one of the last times he was going to be making that long drive, that would make more sense to me, that everything would have to line up just right, because he wouldn't be able to just go back there again, and it would be harder to cover his tracks. Just like on a investigative, means, if you were to try to cover your tracks like you were committing a crime, that's kind of like what he was doing, and that would be his only ability to go up there, as if he was going to Cody, or if he's going on a fishing trip, and he would only have limited ability to do that during certain times. But if it was in New Mexico, it just seems like you could just go out there anytime and hide the treasure, and if the opportunity wasn't right, you just turn around and go back home.
Right. So I like your hypothesis that the idea that it's up north, and I'll just use your phrase because I kind of agree. Up north, meaning Montana, Wyoming, Yellowstone kind of thing, is a more romantic ideal, right? Because he has all that time that he spent up there, and that he grew up there. He was mischievous Forrest Fenn up there. All of those things. So I started looking at it way back when I started this thing. I thought, how would he do that without leaving a really big paper trail? All right.
Right.
So here's what I came up with as the possibility. The possibility is he could have left his home in the morning. He could have driven over to the Santa Fe airport. He could have opened up the they don't call them garages. Where do they put aircraft?
Hangar door.
Hangar. Rolled out his plane, gassed it up. They wouldn't need to make a flight plan because he was going to fly VFR, and even if he was going to fly VFR, he was going to fly VFR, and even if he was going to fly IFR, he wouldn't have filed anyway. He would have just done it, right? Flying north, it would have taken him,
But he sold his plane before he hit the treasure.
And that's the point. So this all was dependent upon him hiding that treasure in 2003. After that,
but I don't.
So,
but he drove, like when he's in
agreed.
Davio's video about, he drove up there.
Yeah, he did every year. After 2003, he just began driving, and it was easy enough for his father. No matter how old he was at age 80, it was easy enough, or between, let's say, up to age 80, it was just as easy for him. I mean, you see him in that 2006 interview. He's 76 years old, and he looks pretty sprightly. He doesn't look like a guy that's just tired from driving 900 miles, right? So it could very well be that at a given time, on a given day, and this was the second theory that we considered, that he went to Cody. He had a valid reason for it, right? So he didn't have to do any extra planning. Everything had to be just right. Well, the just right was the annual meeting of the board of directors of the Cody Museum, to which he knew he'd be invited. He'd drive up there. He'd put the treasure in the back of the vehicle. He could do it easily without Peggy being aware that he did that as they packed. They showed up at their hotel near the Cody Museum. They did their daily things. At some point, he says, you know what? I'm going to take a day, an afternoon, whatever, go fishing. There's plenty of people around here that she knows by now. She could entertain herself through the afternoon. So the whole I did it in one afternoon thing could have been right out of Cody. Then he's finished with Cody. He drives west through Yellowstone National Park to where some of his family members are in West Yellowstone. He gets a place there. He does the same thing there. He drops Peggy off at one of her friend's house or one of their family's house, and he says, I'm going to go up to Madison and do some fishing. And he does the same thing because all the conditions are right. So any of those situations could have occurred in any one of the states. The only one, and I know this will make the people in Colorado that believe it's in Colorado upset, the only one that doesn't fit was Colorado because he never mentioned the need to go to Colorado. The only time he had to go to Colorado was when his granddaughter was at University of Colorado at Boulder. And I don't get a sense that he was traveling up there to visit her. So could it be in and around Cody someplace? Yes. Does it fall into that? Does it fall into that romantic description that you gave it? Yes. Could it be someplace north and west of West Yellowstone? Does it fall into that? Could he have done it, so that all the things had lined up? Yes. So I'm not saying any of that is impossible according to his definition of what he wanted to do, how he wanted to do it, and where he wanted to do it. But the conditions had to be right, and that included a reason to drive up north. It had to align with that. So the conclusion you have to come to at that point is that trip up north had to be made during the summer, June, July, or August, and it had to be in his 79th or 80th year. And now you can start narrowing things down. If it was in New Mexico, there's no paper trail. It could be any day of the week and twice on Sunday. There's no effort involved. Any day that he got up is the things are in alignment. I don't have an appointment. Peggy's going to stay home. I'm going fishing. I'll be back later. So, we have a lot of reasons for looking in New Mexico. We have a lot of reasons for looking in New Mexico that are based upon what happened in the first part of this search. We do not deny there is a probability or a possibility that it's in one of the northern states. What we have to do, like what you have to do, is make a judgment. Where is the best investment in our time, money, and effort made? And that is in our home state, where we never have to drive further than 200 miles.
Okay, but it sounds like you're saying that you see what I'm saying, like logically, it makes more sense with a statement that he was saying that it had to be further than just in northern New Mexico, right? I mean,
I'm not sure. I think I'm not. So the way you said that, I don't agree, but I think I know what you meant, right? So logically,
because he's saying everything had to line up,
right?
But if
logically,
it was in New Mexico, like you said, he could have gone twice on Sunday.
Yeah, logically, it could. There is so if I look at it as just using the premise that everything has to line up, and I would have to give the probability numbers, then based on the probability that things line up, the probabilities are lower that things line up for the northern states than they do for New Mexico. Things line up in New Mexico every day of the summer. Things line up for the northern states once, if he's lucky, twice this summer.
Right.
So where would I invest my time? Right.
Right. I get it.
I don't think it's.
That's not something that I've been kicking around.
I'm not suggesting it's improbable. I'm suggesting it's possible, but a lower probability.
And then maybe since we're at 10 minutes, if I could just touch base on this real quick and then take it offline.
Bless your heart for watching the clock. Go ahead. You're 3D Pro. You're a friend. Use some time. Go ahead.
3D bronze.
3D bronze.
I gave you a new
I
name.
can be 3D Pro. Maybe I'll
Christy, I'll call you back in just a minute. Go ahead.
I don't believe there's really anything that we can get out of the scrapbooks. Sounds like yourself. I think that they're really entertaining, kind of almost like in Forrest's own words. I think there is stuff in there that maybe he's put in there, but I don't know that we're going to be able to pull that out if we can't even pull out the hints that are in the Thrill of the Chase, which is like 100 pages long. But I did want to just read real quick Mysterious Writings. I'm not sure if you're familiar with one of their 6 questions where they asked him, in your memoir, Thrill of the Chase, after the poem, you mentioned there are subtle clues sprinkled throughout that book. You said that you hadn't deliberately placed these subtle hints in your book, but have you done so in any of your other writings mentioned in question 2 and it's scrapbooks, etc.? And then he says, I don't want to broaden the clues and hints I've written about by pointing them out. And then he says some more stuff. But to me, that kind of almost indicates that he has put some clues or hints in there. And I'm not arguing that there is clues or hints. I'm just saying that almost seems like what he's insinuating. Not that I think that anyone could pull anything out of the scrapbooks and be able to do something useful with it. Maybe he just is kind of marketing his scrapbooks for people to read. Yeah. But anyways, I'll take it offline. Thank you so much, guys.
My pleasure. Thanks for calling in. We really appreciate it. And call in anytime, all right?
Thank you. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Let me call Krista. She called while we were on the phone.
Hello.
Hi there.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. And you?
I'm fabulous.
Okay.
Hooray.
Well, good.
You speak about scrapbooks, you and Shelley, and what happens? One magically comes out. But I do think it's important enough. We might want to read it on the fly because this is something that I don't think has ever happened.
All right.
In my opinion.
Let me go take a look. So I've always said, do you find it entertaining?
No, I think he rules out an area that has been in the press in the last couple of days, and he's saying how dangerous it is.
Was it your search area?
No, it's going to be the grand.
Was it our search area?
No.
Was it anybody's search area?
Except
I think it was a search area of a person that has been detained in the last 2 weeks.
So let me open it up real quick. You're probably right that we should read it.
I just think there's been a lot of issues in the past. I don't think he's ever done this. So there's enough in the room saying.
No, I would say he did it
before.
After he ruled out the Rio Grande after Paris's death. So I guess I'm not surprised. But let me take a look at it real quick. Where the heck are his posts? Where are the scrapbooks? Let's see.
I have at least 15 texts that have come in. Everyone stop. I'm talking to Toby and Shelley.
Forrest passages.
It's 248. I don't know if you get the emails. I get the emails when it goes up.
248. So let's read it as a family. Screenshot, brothers and sisters. The Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. You know who that's? Isn't that
Dave? And I've heard from him today, and I am gonna reluctantly talk about it, but I want to talk about that and that guy's email that guy's press about you and I, Toby.
Yeah, that was kind of cute, wasn't it?
Oh, cute. Good grief.
I like the part where he mentions I was having an adult beverage on air because he knows
during church.
If that
isn't that what the Catholics do?
Yeah,
they drink wine in church.
I'm sorry. Did he say cult and that I was actively making fun of Dave, which I talked to Dave and went,
No, I don't.
I'm sorry. What?
So, in view of the recent events, perhaps it is prudent for me to recall an episode that has been lurking in the back of my mind for more than 7 decades. Many years ago, when I was a teenager, young and vigorous Donnie and I hiked on a fishing excursion down into the canyon of Yellowstone River in Yellowstone National Park. It was below the Lower Falls, which is the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone, and a terrible mistake. Our calves ached, but we persevered. The mean-looking whitewater seemed tight, As it swirled around the big rocks, it's a terrible fishing spot. I told myself that the river there was too narrow to carry such a volume of water. A salmon fly hatch was out, so we strung one of our flies. Every cast caught a trout that seemed to be abnormally angry. They fought in a fierce manner that was hitherto unknown in the annals of my fishing experience. After a few more of such predictability, I lost interest and rested on a rock to watch Donnie suffer the same angst as me. We were both strangely uncomfortable and didn't talk much. After filling our canteens, we started out, not fully cognizant of what out entailed. It was tantamount to climbing the Washington Monument with loose rocks at each step. Our thighs resisted all the way up. I promised myself that I would never trek into the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone River again, and I haven't. So perhaps we should share that with your friend Dave.
I will say that I'm going to be punky with him because I think this reporter, I'm just going to say generically, I think this reporter has not acted appropriately or maybe is incompetent enough to not know how to quote people. I don't know which it is until I've spoken with him, but I have reached out to him. I've also invited him on the show in case he wants to do it, what we call on the record. So whether there's intent or not, there is inaccuracies from the information that I've received, but I will digress from that because you have a gentleman that is sitting on charges, and I think that should be more important than getting a scoop from a press outlet at this point. So I disagree with you.
So the scoop by the press outlet isn't going to help his situation. The only thing that's going to help his situation is going to him appear in court and appear in a way that he allows himself to be placed at the mercy of the court by apologizing, showing remorse, and promising that he won't do it again. Then he might get away with the equivalent of a slap on the wrist, but that's all that's going to help him. The more press this gets...
Right, but when someone represents themselves to be helping or whatever they say, and then they put out... and I want to talk to him directly before I say anything against him, but I think he represented cults and all the things that happened of... I don't think you ever represent yourself as a church or a religion. Things that were said were ridiculous, I think, in there. But additionally, I don't think the person that he was interviewing quite understood the things that were going to come out that might hurt him later, because I've dealt with press before. Press, I'll just say a lot of press and lawyers I put in the same category. I'll leave it at that, because most people know my opinions about lawyers.
So you can express...
Except Joel Lewicki.
You can expect that the press is going to always act in their own best interest. Yes. So you have two options: not to interact with them, or to interact with them so that you manage the conversation. I always choose to interact with them so that I manage the conversation. When I don't get the opportunity to manage the conversation, then I go to Rule 2. Rule 2 is the only bad press is no press.
Right, but if I were to ask you, and you are very well versed on how to deal with press, if you were facing charges today and you knew you wouldn't be facing charges a couple of months from now, would you take those calls and be on the record at any point, even though you are probably one of the most well-versed people on how to deal with the press?
No. If I was facing charges of any kind, I would not speak to the press without them going through my attorney. Now, I don't happen to be in that situation, but it happens in Washington, right?
Right. And I just would say to anyone else, I'm not talking to anyone specifically, but I would say that is a really good rule of thumb, because you never know. You get into a very challenging position and you're talking about resources and your own freedom. But anyway, let's get off of that piece to the scrapbook.
Yeah.
I know we had Randy and we had several other searchers that had actually passed. And I think that was the first time we ever saw Forrest stop. He even talked about calling off the hunt. He needed to take some time.
Yeah.
This, in my opinion, is the first time since then. And we don't have a searcher death, but we have a very challenging situation and a legal situation that Forrest has come out to respond to what I would call maybe roosters, maybe people that are putting themselves in unsafe situations. So does that mean that that is what he's going to do for all unsafe situations? Is this going to have repercussion in a lot? I believe that I have talked to enough searchers that there are additional unsafe situations / arrests, detentions, etc., that have happened. Is this going to now encourage that?
So I think if you're a searcher, considering a theory that's what I would call as adventurous as this gentleman, I think if anything, you're going to reconsider your theory. The problem with this particular one, and I don't want to be critical of this man. I don't know him. But what I do know, I would say that his interpretation of the clues was way beyond what Forrest Fenn's capacity is to implement those clues, right?
Well, but except for, and here's where I'm going to make an exception, and I
have a question. You know what? I have a question for you.
Sure.
Before we go forward, because I need to know. So ever since the first call you and I have had about this subject, you have been sympathetic to this particular person. You're about to do it again.
Right.
So I'm wondering, where is all this sympathy coming from?
Okay, so I have heard this. I'm trying to be respectful to the searcher, but also be respectful to the circumstance and other searchers and where they could go and the legal situation. I will say I have heard the searchers full solve. In the winter, I completely agree with you. I don't necessarily agree with you at other times of year, which makes it very challenging when there is a quote out there from Forrest that says you can get it all times of the year. I don't agree with it, but I at least accept the logic. I accept the logic of the solve. I don't think it's an outlandish solve. Certain times of year, I would tell you, I would make, and you know me, I am a 44-year-old woman today that is not I'm a flatlander. I would make the same trek certain times of year, but certain times of year I would not significantly. So I at least understand when you take some of the quotes that sometimes sound contradictory or counterintuitive, I at least understand this piece. This is not just someone desperate. I think there's logic. I think there is, again, I don't agree with the solve, but this is one where I have my own
again,
test.
I'm gonna interrupt just for the sake of clarity. So you don't understand, you don't agree with the solve, but you're sympathetic that he took this option, not in the summer, not in the winter, and now you've had the opportunity with me to read Scrapbook 248, where Forrest Fenn himself, the words are from the man himself, has said, I haven't been down there since Donnie and I scared the hell out of ourselves.
Well, no. What I am saying is at the time that this happened, and all of us have been there when we are first-time solvers, with this information, I think it is obvious. Anybody with a lower falls in the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone needs to scrap their solve. He did not have that information. Additionally, if you look at, can you get there safely, let's say a certain time of year, and where you're not doing some of the things that have happened, and where, like, what I believe WWWH is, what I believe the 9 clues are, what I believe the blaze is, it all kind of fits. Anyone that's emailed me, and I had about 4 people today, and I now have a standard email response. Here are my 4 or 5 absolutes. Does WWWH, is it actually water that you can tip your toe in that is warm? Is there an actual canyon? Is there 9 locations? I have my certain questions. When those 5 questions are not fulfilled, I'm not judging others. I'm just saying those are my absolutes for my world, and I stop someone. Did those fit? Those fit for this individual. So that puts it into the category of, okay, it kind of fits because so many general things fit in this particular.
So I have a theory.
So generic.
I have a theory that requires me to skydive from an aircraft flying at 30,000 feet and open my parachute after entering the Toltec Gorge 200 feet above the water. It fits. I have a warm water salt. I have all of those things. Are you okay if I implement that theory?
No.
Right. So
Now,
let me Let me finish one more. Let me give you another one. Another hypothesis. Let's say this gentleman had waited until summer and done everything the exact same way except rented the snowmobile. He would have hiked in with 140 pounds worth of rope with his friend, still hadn't done a correct measure. He did it all in the summer, rappelling down the walls of the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, becoming trapped because in that part of the Grand Canyon, it doesn't make any difference whether there's snow or not. If you don't have a rope, you're not going to get...
100% agree with you.
So that wouldn't have made the situation any better. It wasn't the winter that was the problem.
100% I agree with you.
So where is all that sympathy coming from?
Okay, so let me give you a scenario, and I'm not trying to give away any solve. I'm just trying to give away or trying to explain. If you have a solve that is within a mile from your car, that does not require you to rappel, that requires you to walk to it in a very simple manner. But during the time that certain roads, exits, entries, ingresses are closed, it becomes much more challenging where you might have to rappel, etc., during certain months of the year. And that you are more encouraged, you believe, by the person that's put on this hunt, to only go during certain times. But it's really officially accessible 12 months out of the year if you are more persistent or more, I don't remember the word Forrest says, if you're, it takes a dedicated searcher, or it's not going to be stumbled upon on spring break. I could see that. I can at least see when I look into the details going, oh, I see the logic here. I'm not saying I agree with it specifically. I actually think it's a safe place 12 months out of the year. But if I were to say to you, if it was a place within a mile that anyone, including a child or a woman or an elderly person, could get to in the summer months when all roads are open within a mile and doesn't have significant safety issues, would you say that fits kind of Forrest's interpretation?
If it was summer months, but I'll make the point that if I look at the situation with Paris Wallace and the situation with Randy Beaulieu, they were both in the summer months or near the summer months. Neither of them were rappelling. Neither of them were in a place. They were both in a place where you would have to work to get into trouble.
Right, but both of those cases, you had significant water issues. And I think that is the reason that if somebody was coming to me, I had somebody say, I'm getting scuba diving gear. And I said, stop. We have ruled out water, it being underwater. So if it's anyone that's underwater, I agree with you.
Well,
so
it happened after that. It was ruled out afterwards. But if I came to you tomorrow and I said, I just bought 300-foot repellent ropes for rappelling. I bought another 300-foot ropes for a belay and safety. And I'm going to have to tie off the ropes and make a rappel jump past them because there is no 900-foot rope. I now have, I don't know, close to 400 pounds worth of rope on me. And I'm going down Toltec Gorge, but it's cool because it's the summer. And I've got
well, that's not the scenario for me, and that's the reason that I think the logic skips. I think for me, it's if you look at the things that have been said and you specifically look at XYZ, and there's particular quotes, and then you say, but during the summer, look, it is completely safe. I was just very enthusiastic because of what all of us have done and all of us have been at one time. I'm not saying, again, I agree. I'm just sympathetic to understanding the logic. And when you look at someone's logic and you go, oh my gosh, that was completely inappropriate. Or you look at it and go, Oh, I understand what you are saying. And I think the other piece is that does not mean the end of that conversation was, and you are not going out again when there's agreement to that. You're not going out again when it is unsafe, etc. There are some flaws, and let's talk about that. That's the piece that I don't think would be good to discuss in length. So I'm sympathetic to the point that something I look at makes logical sense to me when you take some very specific quotes and you go, oh, I see what you're saying, and I could make that same logical leap. That's not outlandish to me. But it's not something I totally agree with. Let me give you my perspective. And you're talking about people that are what seemed to me, I didn't know this person before a month ago, genuinely good people that are trying to just figure this out. And they're trying to pick apart what's the one thing that we're not all thinking about.
Right,
And they don't want to wait 5 months.
So, okay. I accept the fact that you are sympathetic to this individual for whatever reasons you consider correct. I'm not going to try and change that. What I can say is that defense in court isn't going to stand up.
Well, that's a difference. I'm not a judge.
Right.
When someone contacts me, I had 2 or 3 people today, and I say, I'm not a judge, and also you don't even need to agree with me, but I say, when you get out of the car, is it within a mile? Well, Forrest never said that. I don't care what Forrest said. I'm telling you what I say.
Yeah.
And if it's not within a mile, I'm done.
Yeah.
And some people get frustrated by that. I'm not God. I'm not anybody. I don't have a treasure chest. You don't fit my logic, and so you need to move on. And that's where I'm a little bit more harsh, and I apologize to people that are upset by that. I'm not judging them. They just don't fit with my logic.
Right.
But when I have someone that has fit with my logic in many different ways, that has taken quotes and I understand them, I'm not saying I agree with them with what they have done. I am sympathetic to the situation that we have with many different people interpreting different things. And then when I see Forrest responding, and that's the scrapbook piece, is he now going to rule out anyone that's unsafe? And if he does, this might be a slippery slope that there really hasn't been a lot of thought through of do you now want to make sure you hit the press to make sure that you get your area ruled out?
So the simple fact of the matter is anybody that goes west of West Yellowstone or in looking at West Yellowstone, they are in danger, right? They're in danger of being eaten by a bear. And he said bears are hungry, right? He knows that. So we've gone on for 20 minutes. I don't feel like we're making any more headway. We have our opinions on the matter. I think he's going to have to have a much stronger case than that in court. Because he's going to have to explain what he was doing there at that time of the year, and the courts.
And mine's not the logical piece or the legal piece at all. Mine's not even one piece of the legal piece. Mine is more of
yours is and I hope this doesn't. This is not meant to sound offensive. Yours is far more sympathetic than I have ever heard you about anything in the past.
And that should say something is all I have to say. Roosters are irritating me. If you heard all the pieces, I think you might understand it.
Well, I would be interested in hearing any more than that was published in anything up until this point.
Well, and the gentleman, before we go, and then we can go definitely, what do you think about the gentleman that called you out for being the cult leader and me calling in to being the cult person as well? And I have reached out to that person because I believe, speaking to at least one side of the interviewee, I don't think some things were accurately represented. I don't know whether to just let him go because it's some little, it's not catching national news, but there is some inaccuracies there significant.
His newspaper was the Powell Tribune?
Right.
Readership 215. It got bigger. It got more press than it deserved because people started sharing it in the forums. Mm-hmm. But it's in terms of impact, it's 0.
215. Gosh, I got 4,000 hits today on Thor.
Yeah, exactly.
Unique hits. I actually got about 8,000.
See, if you hadn't republished it, maybe.
Okay, Mike did it first. That's
okay.
Mike's fault.
All right. Let me get on to some other people. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye now. Waco, we're going to call you back because you called and there was another number in front of that, so I don't know.
Tony? Waco? Who is it? Joe. Joe in Waco.
Joe, is it? Joe.
I think it's Joe.
Rio Grande, Joe? Hey, Waco, it's Toby and Shelley. What's your name? And
what's up?
what's up? What do you call
Hey, what's up? This is Joe.
Hey,
Calling
Joe.
I told you it was Joe.
Okay. You know, I promised myself I was going to add this. So what's up, Joe?
Okay, so I got some questions. I'm just going to dump them out, and you guys can answer them. I want to start off with a statement. With the statement first, I think we need to let the searcher that is in legal trouble right now. I think we need to let that case rest in peace and let
I
it
agree.
do its thing. I don't think anybody at all should. Just in my opinion, I don't think anybody should talk about it anymore.
I agree. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I was disappointed to see how much traction it got in the various forums. I have not mentioned it at any point up until tonight in my conversation with Christy, but I agree with you 100%. The sooner, the more time we spend ignoring this and letting it take whatever course it is for the individual, the better we are as a community.
Yeah, exactly. And then second thing, some advice to any searchers that might be listening. Don't do anything stupid. I mean, that, in my opinion, don't jump out of a plane. Don't go, belaying off the side of a cliff. I mean, I highly doubt Forrest did anything like that to hide the treasure. I'm pretty sure he kept it simple. He got to a spot, he parked his car, got off, walked half of it down there, came back up, walked the other half down, and, he did what he did.
I'm going to agree with you on that. He tells us, he has told us from the beginning, don't go where an 80-year-old man couldn't go. And then what you hear is, yeah, but he was a healthy 80-year-old. Yeah, he was a healthy 80-year-old. So what, he was a healthy 80-year-old and he was alone. Right? So don't go where a healthy 80-year-old wouldn't go alone with a 22-pound backpack that required 4 trips, 2 up and 2 back. You know?
And you got to put it in perspective too. I mean, okay, he's 79 or 80, and then so he belays down off the side of a cliff. You think he's going to rope climb that?
No, that's my point exactly. I'm sure Davio could introduce us to some senior citizen that is still climbing, in Capitan or in Yosemite or whatever. I'm sure there is those people, but that wasn't him.
You would have to be in immaculate shape.
Exactly.
I mean, like
you would not only have to be in shape, you'd have to be that Soma type, right?
Okay.
You'd have to be that Soma type.
Yeah.
And Fenn was a good, healthy guy with, went to jungle survival school, et cetera, was in the Air Force, had to pass a physical every 6 months. So, but he was 80 and he's without one kidney,
Yeah, exactly.
and he had a bout with cancer, which is always debilitating. He walked into that forest twice and he walked out twice, or he walked into that hiding spot twice and he walked out twice. 2 of those times with a 20-pound load. That's all you need to know. If you're equipping up for a serious climb, you're in the wrong location.
Yeah, because he says just take a sandwich with you and some water, you'll be fine, right?
Yeah, agree. Yeah.
Okay, so just moving on, because I know you spent a lot of time on the last phone call. The other thing I want to say, I heard something about water. Did you rule out water, or has water been ruled out by Forrest? Or?
What he said is it's not underwater. When he made the comment after Paris Wallace's death, he said it wasn't in the Rio Grande. The Rio Grande is not in the Rocky Mountains, and I think he meant the Rio Grande is not in the Rocky Mountains in New Mexico, because part of the Rio Grande in Colorado is in the Rocky Mountains. But he also said it's not underwater, and you don't have to lift any heavy rocks or anything like that to uncover it.
You don't have to lift. Okay, so he said it's not an, but he did, if I'm correct, he did say the chest is wet.
The chest is wet. It's the time of the season when he was asked that was February. But if you knew the physics of the outdoors, and I'm sure you do, you know that in the morning when you wake up, everything is wet from the overnight dew.
Yeah, even the ground contains moisture. So
and the physics of condensation. If you have a tent and you're out in the forest, you wake up in the morning and your tent is going to be soaking wet. Hopefully you've got a waterproofing on it and it's just going to be the outside. If you touch that tent from the inside, then you got a problem. But everything gets wet in the forest, in that kind of environment.
Okay.
Especially if it's a riparian zone where you're near, and we've always assumed that it's near water in some way, and that's even wetter, right?
Yeah, exactly. And okay, so last question I got. There's a picture of Forrest with his. It's an old picture. It's a blue. It's by Hepkin. Like it's a blue car. I guess it was his first car or something. I don't know, but it's a blue car and it has a canoe on top, and he's holding a paddle.
Is it in the Thrill of the Chase?
No, it's just a picture of Forrest floating around.
It's a color print because you said the car is blue.
Oh yes, it's color print. Yes.
Oh. Shadowcaster just reminded me I didn't wish happy birthday to K-Pro while she was on the phone.
Oh, it's K-Pro's birthday. Happy
birthday,
K-Pro.
sweetie.
Search daughter, huh?
My search daughter. I should have. So I don't. You're gonna have to send me a copy of the picture to a Gypsy's Kiss for next Wednesday show, or maybe I can.
Okay, well.
I can do it tomorrow night on the Church of the Search.
Yeah. Either way, I mean, I'm sure if you Google Forrest Fenn, it should pop up in one of those pictures.
Okay.
So it's a blue car with a blue canoe on the top and a blue paddle. Anywho, it's by Hepkin Lake. I was just asking if you knew what part of Hepkin Lake it was.
No, I'd have to look at the photo and then I'd have to see if I could, from the background part of the imagery, figure it out. So.
And if anybody else, if anybody else knows where it's at and has seen the picture, knows what the picture I'm talking about, if y'all can let me know, that'd be great.
Okay.
All right, and that's pretty much it.
Do me a favor and send me a link to that picture so I can take a look at it and I don't have to search for it.
A Gypsy's Kiss?
A Gypsy's Kiss at gmail.com. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I will do, Toby.
So it's up above someplace.
All right.
All right. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Bye. Y'all
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so, Christy was on the phone. We got a call from Georgetown. Let's call Georgetown. No, that was way back when. We called him back.
Way back when.
Way back when.
Remember way back when?
Remember way back when.
Miss Lisa says we were still using black and white in the early 70s.
No, there was color because I was shooting color in the early 70s. There was color film as of 1948. You could make color prints. And then by 1957, you could make slides. Not very good slides, but they were there. Okay, phone line is open for another blah, 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 blah. It's Georgetown.
Another
Georgetown
blah, 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 blah. What?
Hey, Georgetown, what's your name? And
what's
and
up?
What do you want? What's up?
Can you hear me okay?
No, you're really like in a tin can yelling. Try it again. Where are you?
How about now?
That's much better.
Okay. Hi, Toby and Shelley. This is Che out in Colorado.
Hey, Che, how are you doing? Didn't we talk before? You're named after Che Guevara.
That's correct.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I'm on Shots K9 Treasure Hunter tonight.
Yeah.
And I would just like to say, I know you guys wanted to end the stuff on the scrapbooks, but I lost my spot. Scrapbook 124 at the bottom. Forrest talks about if you can tell him where that picture was taken of him and the trout.
Yeah.
He would reveal a clue that he has never revealed before to anybody.
Yeah.
If you knew where that picture was taken.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I was referring to earlier, and
I see.
Wondering what.
I guess nobody's ever done it then, huh?
I don't know.
So he would reveal a clue that he's never revealed to anybody
before, ever.
So if he's going to be revealing any clues or hints to anybody, he's better start doing it quick.
Yeah.
Not that I wish him to pass away, but he's at the age where I'm at the age where it could happen any day. I just had a friend who was 68, 2 years younger than me, out in Virginia, He was the father to one of my daughter's friends, and he was mowing the lawn, not mowing the lawn, snow blowing.
Blowing the lawn.
Blowing the lawn, snow blowing, and they heard the motor, and his wife came out, and he was laying next to the snow blower. He had passed away, 68, 3 years younger than me.
Yeah, but you don't blow snow, so you're safe.
That's true. I won't. Yeah.
I don't want to take up too much time.
Okay, well,
Toby,
Che, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it, and we appreciate your thoughts on the matter. And keep scrap.
I just thought before I'd call in, I'd have some pretty hard evidence for you.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I think
that's absolutely good. If I hear it, if I see it, then if I see that clue that he promised us, then that would be really, really good. But
that would be great.
You know what they say at my club here in Bernalillo. Keep scrapbooking on, my brother. Keep scrapbooking on.
Oh no! I went through every single one the other day because I was looking for a particular photo of Forrest. He's at a campground sitting next to his little tiny camper trailer.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out where that picture was taken, and I haven't found that picture, but I came across that little. I would consider it a nugget.
Yeah.
On Scrapbook 124.
All right, I'll go take a look at it, see what I can make of it.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a great one, you guys.
All right, you too. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So that was Davio. Davio, we're calling you back, brother.
Hello.
Hey, Davio, it's Toby and Shelley.
Hey.
What's up?
What is happening? Namaste, Search Princess, and Tubster the Man.
I'm just trying to stay out of trouble, brother. That's all.
I know what you mean.
I am trying to stay off the old rappelling rope without a friendly hand.
Without a paddle up your
You know, the first thing I thought of after due consideration was I need to get a longer rope, man. Those 800-foot rappelling ropes.
Yeah.
You know, you get those from, I think, Walgreens for about $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
You get them delivered by Amazon. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So, yes, they do make search and rescue ropes that are a couple thousand feet long, but, it's 150 pounds average. And I have seen those guys in search and rescue race up the side of mountains with those packs on their back, hauling out just because they're that badass in Yosemite Valley.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
and Toby, guess how many people on the planet can do that? About 100.
Yeah, exactly. And I am not one of them, and I would never even consider it. I mean, the few times
Tom Frost is one of the guys that originally went up El Cap, Half Dome, one of the legends. Okay, recently passed away, and he's passed me on climbs without any gear on, and he's wicked badass, and he's an old guy.
He's a free climber, though, right? He
does everything. He's just the man. Okay,
yeah.
He's just So I understand that this guy wants to drop a rope down because the place he could easily drive into in the summertime is inaccessible, thus staying within the parameters of within 1 mile easy walk. So he's dropping a rope down, and he's going to rappel down. Now, if he successfully found this, that means he has to bring it up the rope.
Yeah.
Now, that's called Jumaring, which is its own exciting place in hell when you've got extra weight on you to go up a rope because it is extraordinarily hard. You got to know what you're doing.
No, it's all upper body strength at that point, and you better have
you step in a stirrup. You slide the little handle up the rope. It has teeth. It grabs.
Oh, and then it has the stirrup attached to it.
Right. That's what you see these guys doing. That's called Jumaring, jumping, blah, blah. That's how you get heavy loads, blah, blah, blah. Engineering and roping. No, negative, negatory.
Yeah.
That's not part of this whole program. No.
Then you'd have to have big quads.
So I think what's really nice here is how wonderful K-Pro, is about all this. I think it was extraordinary, loving, and nice. Now, that's one thing I'd like to say about, our search community to that degree. In another degree, I think there's a place where we need to step up and go, okay, no, I think fording a river that is waist deep any time of year is out.
Yeah.
create 10,000 feet snow, big crazy things like that. You know what I mean? 80-year-old guy premise is my parameter constantly, constant and cleverness.
Yeah.
If you're not asking questions, I don't think you're making progress.
Right.
I think this is all about asking questions. Well, what if?
Yeah.
How come? Maybe this. Is this a clue? Is it when he talks about elbow room? Is he trying to hint about songs? Is taken into Canyon Down really trying to say down in the valley? Which is the same as on top of spaghetti. I think there's some things in here that are clever, that are being overlooked, and that is the area from which that I dive into. That's where I've been going, because that's the wonderful world of distraction and imagination, which is the wonderful premise of this whole bloody search, is to not watch bloody television and to put down your device and research, and learn things. So I think there's more of that, hooray for a winner for that part.
Yeah. Here's what I'd recommend to anyone looking for Fenn's Treasure and wants to prepare themselves physically for it. Put a 20-pound weight, 22-pound weight in your backpack. Yeah. Go out into any forest. I don't care whether it's a public place and lots of people, and walk around for a while and see how far you get.
3 gallons of water.
Yeah.
3 gallons of water.
Yeah, exactly.
And go on your merry way. Just kind of leave it on your back. Take it off, put it on a few times, walk around, go up a hill. Good day. It's now I'm highly motivated.
And you're younger than the 80 years old that he was.
Yeah, but I'm also, upon finding said box in the ground, I'm going to be crawling with this thing on my back just because.
Because it's
you're coming with me.
I'm not
taking it off.
So you're going to do the whole 42 pounds at once. Is that right?
Yes, just because I'm.
Oh, we lost him.
On adrenaline to just kind of blow my ass.
Yeah,
to the car.
Well, that's why
and then to be wide awake for 3 days.
That's why we always take Kevin.
Kevin the man.
Because Kevin can carry anything.
He's mule boy.
Yeah,
that's right. We always have the young lad. That
I think the way we're going to split it is Shelley's going to take a little bit of the gold, and I'm going to take a little bit of.
I'll wear the jewelry out.
The jewelry. She's going to wear the jewelry out.
Wear the jewelry out.
And then I'm going to take a little bit of the gold, and then we're going to just give everything else in the chest to Kevin. Say we're
fill my pockets up.
Yeah,
that's right. Leave whatever was in my pack is now in that. On the ground, and I'm hiking out, man.
I'm going to put that emerald ring on my finger.
Exactly. Yeah. So, Toby, now that you're dropping all the contents and we're having a good time here, how about the idea that the contents of the box are equal hints? Rubies, 2 big freaking rocks at 16 OZs apiece from freaking Alaska. I mean, are not these things, the objects in the box, equal in hints? And I've always thought the mere shape of the box. When is a square a diamond?
So the question,
answer
the
that.
question.
No. Toby's smiling. When is a square a diamond? It's a riddle.
When is a square a diamond in baseball?
Right.
So
that's exactly right. How simple. So you see those kind of simple things that are right there glaring in front of you that a second and fourth grader would notice? I think those sort of things are being represented in the box and in the images. I mean, the very back page of the book is the treasure box empty and on its edge, so it looks like a diamond, as in a baseball diamond.
So you think that there's something to be said for looking at each one of the pieces of treasure in the chest and determining whether that has any value to your theory?
Yes, absolutely.
Very innovative, Davio.
Why? Think about it. For sure the box is a static weight. I love this box. It's, Book of Days, we're going to use the big, heavy, crazy bronze box. Right on. Bang. 20-something pounds. 20 pounds, right? 20 and change. Dig it. So now I'm going to put in all these items that come to this exact weight. I mean, why little stones? I mean, I saw that as just like putting beans on the scale to get to an exact weight. So the very weight of this in its 2 parts, I saw as a clue. The very amount of stones I saw as numbers reflecting in various words in the chapters. Diamonds, rubies, the fetish necklace, and especially how he points out this bracelet, which ties directly to the rainbow. And as far as the guy who owns this is part of the railroad company, which is Judy Garland did the song that's in it, and here she is in the rainbow. So I see all these crazy little tie-ins. That take the artifacts into play.
Well, I trust that whatever you put together in all, pulling all these things together and coming up with a reasonable theory. My only concern is that you seemed very confident as to the location of the treasure when
it hasn't changed,
and it hasn't changed. So none of these new, ideas that you're investigating have had any impact of the look. Oh, okay, all right.
I'm sharing concepts that have proven fruitful for me in a different way of looking at it. You know, I find constantly asking questions, looking at it different ways. So neither it's going to prove me more correct or far away from the mark. And all the stuff that I've been doing lately as a distraction because my uncle just died and I needed to do something to stay away from all the, I'm involved in the funeral. I was there. I'm not going there.
All right. Well, we did want to express our sympathies for his passing, and may he rest in peace.
Much love to you guys. He's a good man. Let's rock on. So I find that you keep asking questions and you keep finding things. For instance, that page 15, that's all bold. Man, there is so much stuff you can extract from that and then apply to the poem. You know what I mean? I found that. Oh, there's my brother. You know what? I'm going to go.
All right. Talk to you later.
Ciao.
Bye.
See you.
Wait.
Take the phone offline.
Wait. Since when does he's visit? I thought he was visiting his uncle. Oh, maybe the brother's there for the services that recently took place. Okay.
I think we need to play another promo.
Which one?
The consulting one.
Okay, that is called
consulting.
In order to start this search, you have to do the fundamentals. If you have an objective that is finding a treasure, you have a series of milestones that you need to meet in order to find that treasure, because if you don't have a precise point from which to start, you will never find the treasure that was hidden. Call and talk to me about your theory of finding this treasure. This is Toby Younis. What's your name and what's your question? Wait. Hold on. So we just did begin at where warm water's hollow, but how does that tell you where the treasure is? I don't mean to kill your idea. I'm just saying logically. Say, how does that get you closer to the treasure? I'm not going to have this conversation with anyone else. I've done it exclusively for us. And if you want to discuss it further in one of our sessions, I'd be happy to do that. I like the idea that we refer to them as sessions. You want to do a sesh this week, brothers and sisters.
Yeah, make sure you're there for tomorrow night's session at Church of the Search with Toby, 7 o'clock Saturday night.
And
thanks for being here, for all your a lively conversation, for all that wonderful, amazing super chat, and for just hanging out with us tonight and having a good time. We appreciate you. And for a Gypsy's Kiss Friday Fenndango, I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Younis. Thanks for joining us tonight. We had a lot of fun, a lot of rock and roll tonight, huh? I like it when it's like that. It makes the time go by really, really quickly. I will see you, if you're at all interested, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time on the Saturday Night Church of the Search with Toby, where we won't be reading emails, voicemails. We go straight to open phone lines. And I think tomorrow night we're going to play some rock and roll. And we're going to start with my song. She played Memories. We're going to play that. And I did get a ukulele. I did get a ukulele for my birthday, but I've got to start from scratch because I've never played it before. So who knows? One of these nights we might play some ukulele for you. All right? We love you guys.